All of you audible my sound?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in last lectures, okay. So in the last lectures, okay, we have seen two problems of projection of solids. Okay. So I hope all of you understand. Okay, what is the methodology to solve the problems of projection of solids, right? And I will give some task to you. Okay. So have you finished it? Hello. Okay. How many students have you finished your task? Okay. Just say yes in a chat box. Okay, I will check at the end of the lectures. Okay, roll number 40, Kishan. Then roll number 3, I see Happy. Okay, good. What is for other? Where is other students? What are you doing? Okay, have you solved any problems or not? Okay, if you solve only first problems, okay, you just
चलो
say
सर, एक डाउट था सर।
yes. Okay, tell.
जो हमने फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन किया था कल,
Yes.
वो सर एक बार स्क्रीन पे प्रेजेंट करो।
Okay, sure. Okay, so I will share my screens to all of you. Okay. Okay, so many students have, okay, so roll number 65, Preet, very good. Then roll number 76, Jay, yes. Okay, now what about the others? Okay, okay, roll number 37, Davisha, good. Okay, because engineering graphic is not the theoretical subjects. Okay, so if you prepare, okay, if you practice very well, okay, then you can perform in the exams. Okay, good. Now roll number 49. Yes, sir. One problem of the tetrahedron. Okay. Okay. Once again, I will repeat that problems. Okay. So you can solve your queries. Okay. Okay. Then they wash. Rule number 70. Good. Now I will share my screens to all of you.
तो सर फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या था?
Yes. Okay. I will repeat again. The first one. Okay. First one we
बता
will.
दिया था,
Yes.
क्वेश्चन 4 दिया था।
Question 4. A regular pentagonal prism
यस
of
सर,
25 mm.
उसमें जो सर कॉर्नर के साथ जो 45 डिग्री हो रही है, मतलब जो एज होती है वो 45 डिग्री में बना रही है, मतलब
Hmm.
तो उसका
Lateral
आंसर।
edge. Yes,
यस
the
सर,
lateral edge passing through corner makes 45 degree with HP. Yes, corner
तो
में.
उसमें सर आंसर वाली सर शीट, मतलब आंसर वाला पेज निकालिए सर, उसमें जो
Okay.
टिकट रहा है वो।
Okay. So first step. Okay, you will draw the pentagon shape. Okay, in
यस
a
सर,
such a way that corner should be right hand sides. Then you will label the each corners. Okay.
यस सर, वो बस सब कंप्लीट है सर। आगे
Okay. Good.
थर्ड स्टेप में डाउट है।
Okay. Now in a third step, what will you do? The lateral. Okay. I will show you. Okay. Now pentagonal prism is resting at the corner D. Right. Now the lateral edge containing that corner. Okay, so what is the meaning of lateral edge? So lateral edge means perpendicular edge. So at corner D, what is your perpendicular edge? 4 dash D dash. So you will incline 4 dash D dash at 45-degree angles. Okay.
यस सर, तो सर हम 4 डैश को मतलब 45 डिग्री पे इंक्लाइन कर दे, तो यहाँ पे तो हमको सर वन वन और D1 वन ही लाइन में मिल रहा है, मतलब परपेंडिकुलर मिल रहा है, तो
D1
वो
dash
हमको
for
नहीं
1
मिल
dash.
रहा है।
D1 dash for 1 dash. Okay. If you make a 45-degree angle, okay, so first you will mark a D1 dash point on a XY line. Then you will take a distance of D dash to 4 dash and make a arc on a inclination line. So
लेकिन
first you
सर
will incline. Yes.
ये तो हो गया सर, लेकिन यहाँ पे कैसे वो सर D1 और 2 1 एक ही लाइन में मिल रहा है, मतलब
D1 or
2 1, मतलब एकदम।
okay, why? Okay, because in a what we'll do in the third step. Okay, second step we will rearrange in at 45-degree angle here, right? Do you understand? Okay, because here in a first step, okay, second step you will say A dash B dash at this corner point, 1 dash 2 dash at this corner point. So what will you do? First you incline the D dash 4 dash at 45-degree angle. Then you will transfer whole shape here. So how will you transfer whole shape? Okay, so you will take a radius of D1 dash, take a radius of D1 dash to A dash, make a arc here. Similarly, take a radius of 4 dash to A dash, make a arc here. In this way, you will transfer whole shape here. Okay, so that's why you will say
चल गया,
1 dash and 2 dash may make at one point.
वो
Clear?
तो पता चल गया, लेकिन Yes, sir.
Understand?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, well, good. Is there another query?
Sir, fourth step कीजिए तो.
Okay. So in the fourth step, what will you do? Okay, first of all, at every corner points, okay, you will just draw vertical projections. Similarly, from step number 1, you will draw horizontal projections. Okay, so A1 dash line and A line, where it meets, you will mark the A point. Okay, okay, you will mark the points. Okay, now what will you do? Okay, yeah, yesterday I told you where you draw the solid lines and where you draw the hidden lines. Okay, so there is a one common rules here. If your point should be in outer sides, okay, outer sides points always connected by the solid lines. Okay, so you will check here where is the outer point A1, B1, C1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, and E1. So these are the outer points, so it is connected by the solid lines. So directly draw the solid lines here, right? Now the point which is in the inner sides, so what will you do here? Okay, you will see this object from the top sides. Okay, you will see this object from the top sides and decided which is the far away point. Okay, so you will say that d1 dash is the far away point. It means d1 dash point cannot visible from the top sides. It means d1 dash point cannot visible from the top side. So what do you mean by, so d1 dash and 4 1 dash and d1 dash e1 dash d1 dash e1 dash, so these three lines we have represented by the hidden lines here. Understand? Because this one is your solid, it is not in a
Yes, sir,
transparent
yes.
object. Okay, because your d1 dash 4 1 dash line, it is hide. Okay, it is behind the line a1 dash 1 dash. It is behind the line a1 dash 1 dash. Okay, so that's why I will mark e1 d1 d1 c1 and d1 4 1 as the hidden lines. Understand? Okay, so whenever you will solve the problem of projection of solid, you just remember one thing. Okay, outer point always connected by the solid lines. Second, points which is far away from the observer, it is represented by the hidden lines. Clear? Hello, is there any
Yes,
doubt?
sir, yes, clear.
Okay.
सर ये
So,
फिगर में एग्जैक्ट 45 डिग्री लिया है कि मतलब सिर्फ अंदाजित लिया है उसमें.
no, definitely 100% 45 degree लिया हुआ है. Okay, all these figures are drawn by the AutoCAD. Okay. Okay, so is there any query in this problem? Okay, so we go for the next problem. Okay, so yesterday we have solved two problem. One is okay, pentagonal prism. Okay, and second one is the tetrahedron. Okay, so what is the meaning of tetrahedron? So tetrahedron means triangular pyramid. Tetrahedron means triangular pyramid. Okay, so here you will draw the base as a triangular shape. Then you will find out the apex point. Okay, so how will you find out the apex point? From each corner point you have joined with opposite sides midpoint. Okay, so from the point C you have joined midpoint of line AB. Okay, so here you will draw line 1. Similarly here you will draw line second, and here you will line third. Okay, and these three lines were intersect, that is your apex point. Now, so this here you will draw the base, okay, as a triangular shape. But in tetrahedron the axis length is not mentioned. Okay, axis length is not mentioned. So how will you draw the elevations part? So the faces, okay, edges, edges which is parallel to the xy line, the edges which is parallel to the xy line, you will draw the vertical projection. So here from the D point you will draw vertical projections, from the A point you will draw the vertical projections. Then what will you do? Okay, you will mark a dash point here, take the radius of base of the triangle. Okay, means here the base length is 40 mm, so it is my center point. Take a radius of 40 mm and cut your apex line. Okay, so a dash d dash you will mark here. Okay, once it marks, so this one is your d dash point. Okay, and you will connect with the b dash c dash. So in this way you will draw the shape. Understand? Hello, all
Yes,
of you
sir, yes,
understand?
perfect.
Yes.
Okay, okay, so we go for the next problem. Okay, now all of you listen here. Okay, so suppose in your exams, okay, you ask a problem of regarding solid of revolutions like cone and cylinder. Okay, so how will you solve that problem? Okay, so cone and cylinder have the same phenomena, right? So, so here you will all of you read the data carefully. A cone, the diameter of the base is 60 mm. Okay, diameter of the base is 60 mm. Okay, so diameter is given 60 mm and height of cone is given 70 mm. Cone is resting on the HP plane on point of periphery of the base. Okay, so from the first line, okay, we have mentions the which data. Okay, first the solid is a cone. So what is a solid? Solid means one base point, one apex point. Okay, now diameter of the cone is given 60 mm, so you will draw the circle of 60 mm. Height of the cone is given 70 mm, and it is resting on the HP plane on the point of periphery of the base. Okay. So what is your first step? What will you do here? Which method we will apply here? Method 1 or method 2?
One.
Okay, method 1, because it is resting on the HP plane on periphery of, right? So we will draw the we will use a first method, method 1 here, right? Second, axis of cone makes 60 degree with HP plane. Okay, so axis of cone make a 60 degree with HP plane. Okay, so theta is given 60 degree and 30 degree with vertical plane. Okay, so axis of cone 30 degree with vertical plane. Draw the projection of cone when the apex is, okay, when the apex is nearer to the vertical plane. Okay, so it is very important. Apex is nearer to the vertical plane. It means it is nearer to the xy plane. Apex is nearer to the vertical plane. It means apex should be nearer to the xy plane. So we will start to solve. So first step, okay, you will draw the reference line xy. Now here we have drawn cone, okay, and cone is resting on the HP plane, one of its periphery point. Okay, so what will you do here? You will draw the base, true shape of base below xy line, and then elevation you will draw above the xy line. So what is your true shape of base in cone? What is the true shape of base in cone?
Circle.
Circle. Okay, so here you will draw the circle of 60 mm diameter. Okay, here you will draw circle of 60 mm diameter. Now next step, you will divide this circle into 8 equal parts. Okay, so here I will divide the circle into 8 equal parts. Then you have label the points. Okay, so here I will label the points in anti-clockwise direction: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, so this is the circle. It is resting on the HP plane, but it is resting on HP plane on one of the point of the periphery. Okay, so which point you will consider here, A or E?
E.
E, very good. Okay, so in a solid, we have considered right hand sides. So your solid cone is resting on the E point here, right? Now, then next step, you will draw the elevation. So to draw elevations, axis of cone is given 70 mm. So from the, okay, this is your apex point. Okay, this one is your apex point. So you will draw the vertical projections. Okay, take a distance of 70 mm from the XY line and then draw the elevations part. Okay, so first draw the 70 mm center line, then draw the vertical projection from each point and mark on a XY line. Okay, and complete the elevations part. Okay, so projection of A, mark on XY line A dash, B and H coincide at one point, so B dash H dash, C and J coincide at single point, so C dash G dash. Same for F and D and E. Okay, so all the projections of each points you will mark on XY line, and now connect with the O dash point. Clear? Okay, so is there any doubt in this first and second step? Okay, so cone is resting on HP plane, one of its periphery point. So first I will draw a circle below the XY line. Then I divide circle into 8 equal parts. Okay, label the points in anti-clockwise direction A, B, C, D up to H. Now draw vertical projections and then draw the elevations part. Okay, now next thing, what is your third step? Okay, you will rearrange your elevations part. Rearrange your elevations part. Okay, so what is a inclinations angle here? So axis of cone is inclined to the HP plane. Okay, axis of cone is inclined to HP plane 60 degree. So first of all you will draw a 60 degree inclinations line. Okay, first of all you will draw 60 degree inclinations line. Now in this inclinations line, then after what will you do? You will draw the cone in such a way that the point which is resting on a cone should be lie on a XY plane. Okay, so first what will you do? You will draw inclinations line at 60 degree here. Now E1 dash point you will mark on the XY line. Then what will you do here? Okay, you will take a radius of A dash to A dash to A dash, okay, and make a arc here, okay. So you here you will mark E1 dash in such a way that so that a C1 dash point meet on axis, C1 dash point meet on axis, okay, and it should be okay perpendicular to each other, okay. So you will check here the angle between the C1, okay, this and this axis and base should be perpendicular to each other. So in this way you will rearrange your elevations part. Understand? Hello. Okay, suppose okay, this suppose you are a difficulty to draw this part. So what will you do? Okay, what is the angle here? 60 degree, right? So what is angle here? What is angle here? Base and axis should be angle 90 degree. So what is angle here? 30 degree. So you will mark even dash point, then you will draw one line at 30 degree angle and then transfer the points. Okay, so you can do this thing also. Okay, because your angle here 60 degree. This one base and axis should be perpendicular to each other. Okay, so what is the angle here? 180 degree minus 90 plus 60. Okay, so 180 minus 150. So angle between E1 dash to axis is 30 degrees. So you will draw one line at 30 degree angle. E1 dash point you will mark. Then you will mark distance of E dash to C dash. Okay, and then draw the axis. Understand? Hello? Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now what is our fourth step? Okay, you will draw the vertical projections from the each point. Okay, you will draw vertical projections from the each point. Similarly, draw horizontal projections from the first step. Okay, and draw the radius shape. Okay, so I will draw vertical projections. Okay, from the A1 dash, B1 dash. Okay, from the each points. Similarly, draw horizontal projections from the each points. Okay, now mark the points first. Okay, A1, G1, C1, E1, O1, B1, H1, F1, D1. Okay. Now, then after what will you do here? Okay, you will observe this object. Okay, you will see this object from the top. So what will happen? Okay, so if cone is inclined 60 degree, okay, and if you see this object from the top, so what will happen? You will see only half portions of the cone visible. Okay, only half portions of the cone is visible to you. Okay, so tell me which half portion you will visible here? E1 dash, B1 dash, H1 dash, C1 dash, yeah, C1 dash, G1, D1 dash, and F1 dash. Okay, so bottom portion you will visible, yeah, or top portion you will visible?
Top portion. Top portion.
Okay, top portion you will visible. So which is the top portions point? Z1, H1, A1, B1, and C1. So this point you will represent it as a solid lines. Okay. So cone is in a circular shape. So here you will connect G1, H1, A1, B1, C1 point by curvature shape. Understand? Hello.
Sorry, my face is a bit wrong.
Okay. Okay. I think all of you understand third step. Okay. Now to draw a fourth step, what will you do? First of all, we will draw the vertical projections from the third step. Similarly, we will draw the horizontal projections from the first step. Clear? Then I will mark the point A1, B1. Okay, A1 dash line and A line where it intersect.
E1 को कैसे find करना है? E1 को.
Which point?
E1.
E1 को कैसे find करना है आपको? Okay. थर्ड स्टेप में E1 को कैसे फाइंड करना है यहाँ पे? मींस हाउ टू मार्क E1 point, E1 dash point on a third step.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what will you do? Axis of cone is inclined 60 degree to the HP plane. Okay,
Yes,
so what
sir.
will you do here? The axis is 60 degree inclined here. So axis and base always perpendicular to each other. So it is a 90 degree angle. So what is the angle here? 30 degree. So you will mark anywhere E1 dash point on XY line. Then you will draw 30 degree inclinations line. Now in this inclinations line, you will mark point C dash, okay, C dash, G dash point.
लेकिन
okay,
सर
and
ऐसे
from
पॉइंट पे मार्क करना पड़ेगा जब
yes,
C1 और E1 मिड पॉइंट हो C1.
yes, definitely. And from that point, you will draw the inclination line 60 degree.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you will take a reverse step. Okay. Now, see this object from the top. Okay. Now, cone you will visible from the top. So, what will happen? Only half portion you are visible. Okay. So, which half portion you are visible here? Top portion or bottom portion? Obviously, top portion you are visible here. So, which are the top points? E1 dash, B1 dash, H1 dash, and C1 dash, G1 dash. So, these points you will draw as a solid lines. and remaining point like G1, F1, E1, D1 and C1, it is represented by the hidden lines. Okay, likewise this. Clear? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you have connect G1O1 and C1O1. Okay, okay, so this is your reduced shape. Okay, is there any doubt here? Because here you don't want to join all the points. Okay, G1O1, F1O1, H1O1. Okay, you just connect with your outer point G1O1 and C1O1. Okay, now in the next step, what says that? Okay, so in the next step it will mention that in a problem axis of cone is inclined 30 degree to the vertical plane. So axis of cone, is original axis is 70 mm, but when you incline the object 60 degree to HP plane, so axis of cone is reduced here. Okay, you can check here. What is your axis of cone in fourth step? O1, and originally it is O dash, C dash. Okay, so O dash, C dash is 70 mm, and O1 is the reduced length. So axis of cone is inclined to vertical plane by 30 degrees. So here we will solve this problem by the locus method. Okay, as like you will solve the problem in projection of plane. Understand? Axis of cone is inclined 30 degree to vertical plane. So it means what will you do? Original axis is 70 mm, and reduce when you incline 60 degree to the object, so your axis of cone is reduced here. So here we will solve this object by the locus methods. Okay, so what will you do here? First of all, you will draw the one inclination line 30 degree here. Now in this inclination line, now another thing is given, apex is nearer to the vertical plane. So apex means, what is your apex point here? O1 point. So apex should be nearer to the xy plane. Apex is nearer to the vertical plane. It means apex should be nearer to the xy plane. So your O1 point should be above the nearer to the xy line. Okay, so it means O point, you here we will mark bottom, O1 point should be above. Understand? Hello.
Sir, can you please repeat again?
Okay, in third step, okay, in fifth step, you have mentioned that axis of cone is inclined 30 degree to vertical plane. Axis of cone is inclined 30 degree to vertical plane. So axis of cone means your original axis is inclined 30 degree to vertical plane. But in you can check your reduced shape, because in a fifth step, what will you do? Whatever your axis in a fourth step, that we will incline. But in problem, you mentioned that axis of cone is inclined 30 degree to vertical plane. So it means you have first incline original axis, then you will mark a reduced axis, and then transfer the shape. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first mark O point on a, okay, so here I will mark O point. Then what will you do? You will mark original axis. Okay, so original axis is 70 mm. So you will mark true length of original axis. Okay, so this one is your O1 point. Now from this point you will draw horizontal line. Okay, you will draw horizontal line. Now O is your center point. Take a radius of O1. Take a radius of O1. Reduce axis length. Okay, take a radius of reduce axis length. O is your center point. Take a radius of reduce axis length and make a arc on this hidden lines. Okay, this center line. Okay, so you will get point O2. Okay, so O1 is equal to O2, and then you will transfer the whole shape. Clear?
Sir,
नहीं चला आर वाला
Okay,
Yes,
one
sir.
second. Okay, so first of all, you have mentioned that axis of cone is inclined 30 degree to the vertical plane. It means here first we mark original axis, then we mark reduce axis. Okay, suppose you have mentioned plan of axis is inclined 30 degree to vertical plane. So we directly transfer the fourth step, okay, without using a locus method. But here you have mentioned that axis of cone is inclined 30 degree to vertical plane. Means your original axis we will incline first. Okay, so what is your original axis? 70 degree, 70 mm. So first you will mark O point. Now take a radius of 70 mm. Okay, that is the true length of axis. Okay, mark point. So this is your O point. Now from this point you will draw horizontal line. Okay, from this point you will draw horizontal line. Okay, that is represented by center line. Now on this line you will mark reduce axis point. Okay, what is your reduce axis point? O1. So take a radius of O1. O is the center point and make a arc on this line. Okay, where it cuts. Okay, where it cuts that is your point O2. That is your point O2. So this is your O2 point. Okay. So connect O2. Okay, and then you will transfer whole shape here. Understand?
70 mm रेडियस लाइन लेनी है ना वो आर्क पर.
Yes, definitely. Okay, O को सेंटर रखना है, 70 mm की रेडियस लेना है और 30 डिग्री की इंक्लिनेशन लाइन पे आपको फर्स्ट कट करना है. ओके, फर्स्ट कट करना है. देन क्या करना है आपको? हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन ड्रॉ करनी है. ओके, एक हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन ड्रॉ करनी है. O को सेंटर रखना है. व्हाट इज योर रेडियस एक्सिस लेंथ? OO1. ओके, so take a radius of OO1. O is the center point and make a arc on this center line. So you will get the point O2. Now connect OO2. Okay, so based on OO2 you will transfer whole shape here. Okay, clear?
Okay sir.
Understand? Okay. Is there any query in fifth step?
सर हम ये जो O पॉइंट है वो सर मतलब ओरिजिन से मतलब नहीं ले सकते, मतलब जैसे 30 डिग्री हमने ड्रॉ किया वहाँ से.
Origin से क्यों नहीं ले सकते O को? Because in this point, okay, in this problem you have mentioned that apex of the cone is nearer to the vertical plane. It means your apex point should be nearer to the XY line. Okay, so that's why we will mark O point at bottom, and so that O2 point should nearer to the XY line. Okay.
Okay.
Suppose, okay, in this problem, okay, you have mentioned that apex is far away from the vertical plane. So what will you do? So you will draw inclination line 30 degree in a left to right. Okay, O point mark on a top sides. So O2 point will bottom sides. Okay, and that you will transfer the whole shape. Okay, so
yes,
that's why O2 point is far away from the vertical line. Okay, so always be careful. जब भी आपको exams में ऐसे mention किया हुआ है कि apex is nearer to the vertical plane, means your apex point should be nearer to the XY plane होना चाहिए. Apex is far away from the vertical plane, तो आपका apex point far away from XY line. Okay, vertical plane means आपका XY plane consider करना है आपको वहाँ पे कि apex is nearer to vertical line. So means apex point nearer to the XY line. Apex is far away from the vertical plane. So apex is far away from the XY line. Understand? Okay.
Yes.
Now you can mention this point in your sketchbook also. Okay, you can mention this point in a sketchbook. Okay. So whenever you will solve the problem, you just remember, if apex is nearer to the vertical plane, apex is nearer to vertical plane, it means apex should be nearer to XY plane. Apex should be nearer to XY plane. And second, apex is far away from vertical plane. Apex is far away from vertical plane. It means apex should be far away from XY line. Okay, we will draw vertical projections. Okay. Similarly, from the third step, we draw horizontal projections. Okay. Now, what will you do here? First of all, we will mark point A dash, B dash. Okay, all the points we will mark here. Okay. Now, then what will you do? Okay, you will observe that if you see this object from the bottom, so what will happen? All the base, okay, all base point you are easily visible. Okay, so here all the points should be represented as a solid lines. Clear? Okay, in a fifth step, if you see this object from the bottom, so what will you see? You will fully visible this base point. Okay, circular base. Okay, you fully visible this circular base. So that's why here I will represent it as a solid lines. Understand?
Yes sir.
Okay. Okay, so now your problem is finished. Okay, we go for the next problem. Okay, if you understand this problem very well, okay, then you can easily understand this exercise number 5. Okay, it is very important. Okay, so everyone carefully read the data. A pentagonal pyramid. Okay, so first solid is given pentagonal pyramid. So pentagonal pyramid means base is pentagon shape and every corner point of the pentagon connected with the apex point. So pentagon pyramid having base side 50 mm. Okay, so edge is of base is given a 50 mm. height of pentagon pyramid is given 90 mm. It is a resting on corner of its base on HP plane. Okay, on a corner of its base on HP plane. So your pentagon pyramid is resting on the HP plane, one of its corner, right? So this is your first sentence. Now in the second sentence, they mention that the slant edge containing that corner, a slant edge containing that corner makes angle 55 degree with HP plane. Okay, so first inclination is given with respect to HP plane, 55 degree. Second inclination is given 30 degree with vertical plane. Draw its projections when apex is nearer to the observer. Okay, now here there is a mention that apex is nearer to the observer. So what is the meaning of this statement? Apex is nearer to the observer. So what is the
XY line.
very good. Apex should be far away from the XY line, and apex is away from the observer because your observer is always okay. Suppose in a third step, so observer is in a top side. Okay, in a fifth step, observer should be in a bottom side. So apex is nearer to observer. So it means apex point should far away from the XY line. Apex is away from the observer. So it means apex point should be nearer to the XY line. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's start. So base edge of the base 50 mm, corner on HP. Second, height of axis is given 90 mm. Slant edge makes 55 degree with HP, theta is 55 degree, and 5 is 30 degree with VP. Case 1, apex nearer to observer. Okay, it means apex away from the vertical plane. Yeah, apex away from the XY line. Okay, second case, apex away from the observer. It means it is a nearer to the vertical plane. Yeah, nearer to the XY line. So first start, draw a reference line XY. Now, okay, what will you do in our first step?
You should.
Okay, so first, pentagon pyramid is resting on the HP plane, one of its corners. So we will use the method 1 here, right? So you will draw true shape of base below XY line. Okay, and how will you draw the true shape of base? You will draw the true shape of base in such a way that corner should be in a right hand side. Okay, so here you will draw pentagon shape in such a way that its corner should be in a right hand side. So here I will draw a pentagon shape. Then we will label the points. Okay, A, B, C, D. Okay, here I will label the points in clockwise direction. Okay, you can point given either clockwise direction, yeah, anti-clockwise direction. Okay, it depends on you. Then you will find out the apex point. Okay, so here I will find out the apex point. Okay, I think all of you understand how will you find out the apex point. Every corner point you have connect with opposite sides midpoint. Okay, so in that way, okay, you will find out the apex point. So true shape of base we will draw below XY line. Now next we will draw the elevations part. Okay, so what will you do? Axis of height of axis is given 90 mm. So from the point O you will draw one center line. Okay, take a distance of 90 mm from the reference line XY. Take a distance of 90 mm from the reference line XY. Okay, from this line take a distance of 90 mm from this line. Okay, so this is a 90 mm, and then connect the all points. Clear? Hello, all of you understand here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first draw true shape of base below XY line. Second we draw the elevations part. Now what is our next step? So in the third step we have mentioned that slant edge makes 55 degree with HP. Means what? Which is our slant edge here? Which is our slant edge? O dash A dash. Very good. Okay, because your pentagon is resting at corner point A. So slant edge is OA. OA is our slant edge. Okay, so you can check in elevation part. O dash A dash is our slant edge. So this slant edge makes angle 55 degree with HP plane. Okay, 55 degree with HP plane. So first you will mark E1 dash point, take an angle of, then you will draw inclinations line 55 degree. Okay, now in this line you will mark O dash point. Okay, so take a radius of A dash O dash, mark. Okay, and then you will transfer whole shape. Understand? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Now next step. Okay, so what is our next step? Okay, draw the radius shape. Okay, so from each point of step number 3, you will draw vertical projections.
सर slant edge मतलब lateral edge.
Slant edge means lateral edge, yes. Okay. But slant and lateral edge, okay, there is a difference. Slant edge means it is not perpendicularly edge, okay? And lateral edge means it's a perpendicularly edge here. So in pentagonal pyramid, your pyramid is resting at a corner. So corner is connected to the edge, that is a slant edge here. It's not the lateral edge. Okay, so in a prism, it mention a lateral edge, but in pyramid, it mention is a slant edge. Clear?
Sir,
Yes.
सर स्लैंट एज में ओ सी डैश ओ C1 डैश एच भी ले सकते हैं
Which slant? Because your pentagon is resting at corner A. Because in a solid, what will you do? Always we will consider as a right hand side point, right? So your pentagon is resting at corner A. So that's why we have considered a slant is containing that corner point A is OA. We can't consider as a OC.
ओके सर
Okay. Suppose if you mention C point here and then you will consider OC, then it's okay. But C point is on the left hand side, so you can't consider it.
ओके सर
Okay. Now next step, draw the vertical projection from each point. Draw vertical projections from the each point. Okay, so here I will draw vertical projection from A1 dash point. Similarly, draw horizontal projections from A point. So you will mark A1 point. So see similarly, you will mark all the points A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, and O1. Okay. Now tell me which line we will draw as a solid lines and which line we will draw as a hidden lines. Okay.
तो सर E1 B1 है जो
Yes, A1.
E1 वो solid lines और
E1 A1 डैश है जो E1 डैश और A1 डैश वो हिडन लाइन आएगी.
Very good, excellent.
O1 और B1 A1 डैश वो भी हिडन लाइन आएगी.
Okay, very good. Okay, so
A1 O1 हिडन लाइन
yes, very good. Okay, so first step, okay, you will check which is your outer point. So B1, C1, D1, E1, and O1. So these are the outer points. So these outer points are connected by the solid lines here. Okay. B1, C1, D1, E1, and O1. So these are the outer point. So we have connected by the solid lines. Now A1. So A1 is the inner point. Okay. So what will you do? You will see this object from the top. Okay. See this object from the top. So A1 is a far away. So it means here we will draw as a hidden lines here. Okay. So now A1 dash point is connected to the which lines? A1 dash B1 dash, A1 dash E1 dash, and A1 dash O1 dash. So these three lines we will draw as a hidden lines. Remaining all the lines we will draw as a solid line. Clear? Hello?
Yes sir.
Yes,
Okay. Now tell me O1 C1 and O1 D1. It is a solid line or a hidden line? O1 C1 and O1 D1.
solid line
O1 C1. Okay, because it is fully visible, so we will represent it as a solid line. Understand?
Yes sir.
Okay, so step number 4 is completed. Now, in step number 5, you have mentioned that slant edge makes 30 degree with vertical plane. So, which is our slant edge? So, original our slant edge is O dash A dash. Okay, this is our original slant edge, O dash A dash. And this one is our reduced slant edge, A1 Okay, you can check here. This is a suppose X length and this one is the Y length, which is not in same length. So, what will you do here? We will solve the problem by locus method or without locus method. Okay, only say that slant edge. Okay, suppose in your exams you have mentioned that plan of slant edge makes 30 degree with vertical plane. So you can solve the problem by the without locus method. But here you have mentioned only slant edge. So slant edge means you have considered only true length. Okay, so O dash is your true slant edge. Okay, and A1 O1 is your reduced slant edge. So this problem we will solve by the locus method. Understand? Hello?
yes sir
Okay, so why we have considered a locus method here? Because in original true slant edge and reduced slant edge have a different length. Okay, so that's why we will solve by the locus method. Okay, so first case, apex nearer to the observer. Okay, so what will you do here? Apex nearer to the observer. Hello?
apex is away from XY line
Okay, apex is away from the XY line. So what will you do? You will draw inclinations line 30 degree left to right. Okay, inclinations line 30 degree left to right. Okay, you will mark A1 point here, top, and O1 point should be bottom. Okay, so first you will mark A2 point. Okay, first you will mark A2 point. A1 is equal to A2. Okay, so here I will mark A2 point. Then what will you do? You will consider true slant edge. Okay, so take a radius of true slant edge and make a R here, O dash point. From this point, you will draw horizontal line. Okay, now in this horizontal line, what will you do? You will take a radius of A1 O1. Okay, A1 O1. Take a radius of A1 O1. A2 is the center point and make a arc here. Where it cuts, mark O2 point. Clear? Hello, all of you understand? Yeah, once again I have repeated. Okay, good. So here you will mark A2. Yes. Hello.
A2 point जैसे हम O point plus
Because here, okay, your apex point is nearer to the observer. Okay, so your observer is from these sides. Okay, in a step number 5, observer is in a bottom side. So that's why your apex point should be nearer to the observer. Yes, so that's why here we will mark here. Okay, so first you draw inclination line 30 degree left to right. Mark A2 point on a top sides. Then take a radius of A dash O dash. So mark O point. From the O point, draw horizontal line. Now in this horizontal line, you will mark a reduced slant edge. Okay, so here you will get a point O2. So A2 O2 is a reduced slant edge. Now with respect to A2 O2, whole shape you will transfer here. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Okay. Now in your final answer, what will you do? You will draw vertical projection from step number 5. So draw vertical projection from step number 5. Okay, similarly draw horizontal projection from step number 3. Okay, so here A1 dash line and A2 where it meets A2 dash, B1 dash and B2 where it meets B2 dash. So same way you will transfer all the points on a top sides. Okay, now what will you do here? Okay, now tell me which lines you will draw as a solid lines here. Hello, which lines you will draw as a solid lines? Okay, so there is a first thumb rule is outer point always connected by the solid line. So A2 dash, B2 dash, B2 dash, O2 dash, O2 dash, D2 dash, D2 dash, E2 dash. So these are the solid lines. Okay, these are the solid lines. Now, then after what will you do? You will observe this object. Okay, you will see this object from the bottom. So which is a far away point?
C2.
C2. Okay, so it means C2 is a hidden. So C2 is connected with C2 D2, C2 B2 and C2 O2. So these lines you will represent it as a hidden lines here. Clear? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay. Okay. So case number 1 is complete here. Right now here you will solve case number 2. Apex away from the observer. So apex away from the observer. So what will you do here? You will draw 30 degree inclinations line right to left. Okay, and apex point should be nearer to the XY line. Okay, clear? You will transfer step number 4. Okay, you will transfer step number 4. Understand? Okay, in case 2, we will transfer step number 4 only. Yes?
हेलो सर
Yes?
सर जो हम 30 डिग्री वाली लाइन है वो लेफ्ट टू राइट ड्रॉ करें तो चले
Repeat again. Okay, your sound is not clearly. Listen to me.
सर इस पे जो 30 डिग्री तो उसमें सर हम लेफ्ट ड्रॉ करें तो चले
30 डिग्री किस तरह से ड्रॉ करें तो चलेगा? 30 डिग्री
सर लेफ्ट टू राइट मतलब प्री जो केस की तरह किया ना उसमें
हाँ ओके हाँ इट्स ओके हाँ
तो सर उसकी तरह ड्रॉ करें तो चले
हाँ ठीक है नो प्रॉब्लम okay so now here in a step case 2 we will transfer case step number 4 okay now what will you do you will draw the vertical projections here okay so draw vertical projections from A2 point A2 dash. Similarly here you will draw A1 dash projections where it meets A2 dash mark. Then similarly you will mark B2 dash, C2 dash, D2 dash and all points. Okay, now tell me which points here we will draw as a solid lines. So O2 dash, E2 dash, E2 dash, A2 dash, E2 dash, B2 dash, B2 dash, C2 dash and C2 dash, O2 dash. So these points we have represent as a solid lines. Outer point always represented by solid lines. Now see this object from the bottom. Okay, so which is a faraway point?
D2.
Which is a faraway point? A2. Okay, because D2 is a visible. It is nearer to the observer sides. Okay, so it is visible, but A2 is not visible. Okay. That's why A2, B2 and A2, E2 we have represented as a hidden lines here. Okay. So is there any doubt? Hello? Is there any doubt?
सर A2 B2 तो सॉलिड लाइन से बना है सर.
Yes, definitely, because it is an outer points. Okay, so if you see this object from the bottom, so it is in a tilted. Okay, so that's why it is visible to us. Okay, that's why it is visible to us. Okay, so that's why we will mark as a, because you will always remember thumb rule. Outer point always connected by the solid lines. Then after you will use a second rules. The points which is far away, then you will represent it as a hidden lines. Okay, so B2 A2 is an outer point, so we cannot represent it by hidden lines here. Okay. So here we were represented by the solid lines. Understand? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is okay? So today we will up to this part. Okay, we will. That's it for today. Okay, now I have given some task for you. Okay, which you have complete. Okay. Now in here, what will you do? In pentagonal pyramid, instead of pentagonal pyramid, this problem we will solve by the hexagonal pyramid. So hexagonal pyramid having side of base 50 mm, height 90 mm is resting on the corner of its base on HP in such a way that the slant is containing that corner makes angle 55 degree with HP and 30 degree with vertical plane. Okay, you consider these two case. Okay, and solve the problem. Okay, so what will you do here? Instead of pentagonal pyramid, here you will mention hexagonal pyramid. Understand? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and here, okay, so in this case, what will you do? Okay, here cone is resting on HP plane on periphery. Okay, so instead of HP, here you will mention vertical plane. Okay, so cone diameter of base 60 mm, height 70 mm is resting on vertical plane. On the point of periphery of base, axis of cone makes 60 degree with VP, vertical plane. Okay, instead of HP here you will mention vertical plane, and instead of vertical plane you will mention HP plane, right? When apex is nearer to the HP plane, when apex is nearer to the HP plane, and solve this problem. Okay, so exercise number 3 and exercise number 5, these two exercise you have complete in your sketchbook. Hello? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe our next lecturer will be okay. Next. Okay, so we will finish our lectures today. Okay, is there any query regarding today's lecture? Hello.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we will meet next week. Okay. Okay.
सर कौन से फिगर ड्रॉ
Thank
करनी
you.
है स्केच